harsh words from Greg Bovino on his way out the door. The former Border Patrol chief has officially retired, and he did not go quietly. He had some pretty stinging criticism for border czar Tom Homan, of all people. We asked Homan all about it just moments ago. We're joined now by White House border czar Tom Homan. Tom, great to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Katie.
So let's start with this. Greg Bovino, of course, who was in charge of Border Patrol, has left. I want to get your response to his words on the way out the door. They were pretty harsh. He claimed that you and other officials, quote, "The Gorman family is burying their daughter this week," and Liberal Commissioner Rodney Scott and capitulator Tommy Homan say and do nothing, which is how we got in this mess in the first place. What is your response to Bovino accusing you of doing nothing?
Look, I appreciate Greg Bovino's service to the country. I think he's a patriot. But bottom line is, I've been fighting sanctuary cities for 10 years. The fact remains is, under my leadership, I've deported more illegal aliens than anybody since the Eisenhower administration. I mean, anybody thinks Tom Homan stopped in immigration is just wrong. But look, I appreciate Greg's service. I appreciate him, putting that badge and gun on every day, so I hope he's happy in retirement.
Let's move on to this, of course, which is something that we've been covering this week. Another awful, fatal result of open border policies. Sheridan Gorman, who was the Loyola University student, was murdered in Chicago, allegedly by this illegal alien from Venezuela who was previously arrested. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has, not taken any accountability for what has happened. Listen to what he had to say.
Will you take this opportunity to apologize to Sheridan's parents for the policies that you promoted that directly caused her death? That suspect would not be in the city, would not be in the country, but for your policies. Will you take this opportunity to apologize?
Well, again, I believe that we're all grieving the loss of Sheridan and other folks who have lost their lives because of senseless violence. And let's just be very clear, between the Safety Act and the Welcoming City Ordinance, the Welcoming City Ordinance was passed 40 years ago by the first black mayor in the history of Chicago, and the Safety Act was passed under the governor, at that time, who was a Republican, Governor Rauner. Thank you for your questions.
So you will not apologize to Sheridan's parents?
So, Tom, you're not unfamiliar with cases like this. Lake and Riley, of course, another victim of this type of policy. What do you have to say to Mayor Johnson and other leaders of these sanctuary jurisdictions where this continues to happen as a result of them cooperating with ICE and federal officials to deport violent criminals?
Look, I've been fighting sanctuary cities for 15 years. I have met hundreds of angel moms and angel dads who buried their children because their children were killed by an illegal alien. Senseless tragedies. But look, he calls it a welcoming ordinance. No, it's a sanctuary ordinance. It's a sanctuary for criminals. Sanctuary city policies are sanctuary for criminals. And the worst of the worst are going to go to these cities because they can be protected. They can commit a crime, and the local law enforcement is allowed to, contact ICE. I just got back, from Minneapolis not too long ago, and we were real successful in Minneapolis because it's Minneapolis and the state are less of a sanctuary state and less of a sanctuary city because now we're getting unprecedented access to the jails and the prison. So we can arrest the bad guy in the safety and security of a jail rather than putting our officers at risk of arresting him on the street. I wish Chicago would follow that lead. Because, it doesn't make sense. Why you would release a public safety threat back in the public when you can turn them over to us? I mean, they chose to lock that person into a jail cell. That's the person we want to talk to. So let us talk to them and let us take action because, the welcoming policies, sanctuary policies say, well, we're a welcoming city and sanctuary city because we want victims and witnesses of crime that are in the country illegally to feel welcome to come and report to police without fear we're working with ICE. That is a bunch of crap because we don't want to talk to the victim and witness. We want to talk to the guy that you locked in a jail cell. And I guarantee you the victim and witness that crime, they don't want the bad guy released in the back of the neighborhood either. So I'm going to keep working to end sanctuary cities. Pam Bondi is suing sanctuary cities. President Trump wants to take sanctuary cities on, and we're going to continue taking them on. We got to end sanctuary city policies because doing so will save thousands of lives.
You know, Tom, while you guys are trying to end sanctuary policies, you have a number of Democrats trying to implement new ones. You have the Virginia governor, Democrat Abigail Spanberger. One of the first things she did was to say that local jurisdictions are not going to cooperate with ICE. There have been a number of high-profile cases, especially in Northern Virginia, where the prosecutor is not cooperating and letting out these violent illegal aliens back on the streets. One of them had more than 30 arrests before he fatally stabbed a woman named Stephanie Minter at a Virginia bus stop. We interviewed her close friend, and this is what she had to say about that.
My message is that when it comes to violent crimes, you need to be hard on crime, and you need to really pay attention to prosecuting these cases. I was completely disturbed when I saw the emails that went from the major in Fairfax County to the prosecuting office about this individual in particular. It stunned me that they said it's not a matter of if they will reoffend in a violent nature, but when.
So, Tom, you know, in a place like Fairfax County that now has a history of refusing to honor these ICE detainers, what do you do? I mean, how do you get around that? Obviously, the feds can still go in there, but how do you get around these policies that are just pushing back against getting rid of these violent criminals who are reoffending at places like bus stops on the streets?
Well, like I said before, I've met hundreds of angel moms and dads. The reason I came out of retirement twice. I came out of retirement twice for President Trump. The number one reason, the main reason, is for the angel families. And I promised them I would fight until my last breath on earth, and I'll keep doing that. But I wish, again, the Governor Spanberger, her number one responsibility is protecting her communities, to create safe communities. So why don't they follow the lead of Minnesota? Look, if you got some sort of state law where you can't honor a detainer, we'll fight that in court, and we'll win in the long run. However, you don't have to honor detainers if you don't. You know, if there's a law against it, simply call us. Don't hold them 1 minute past you would normally hold them on your charges. Just simply call us. When you release them, we'll be there. So the ACLU can't sue you because you didn't hold them for us, or you didn't violate any state law or governor's executive order. But a real police officer, a real sheriff, a real chief who believes in public safety, there's nothing wrong with law enforcement calling law enforcement and saying, hey, somebody you got a warrant for arrest, they're in the country illegally, just raped a child, we're releasing them on bond at 3 p.m. Why don't you be here and take them into custody? And we will do that. In Minnesota, when we made these agreements with all these jails, we even, you know, surgically placed deportation officers all over the state so we can respond quickly. We will work with you. We want to work with you to take these dangerous criminals off the street.
Yeah, well, it seems like they have an obligation to do that, but unfortunately they're not. I want to transition to the partial government shutdown. Of course, we've been seeing lines stretching for hours across airports across the country. TSA officers are calling out because they're not getting paid. You, of course, you talked about coming out of retirement. You not only are the current White House border czar, but you were the acting director of ICE from 2017 to 2018. Can you tell us about what ICE agents are doing in these airports, and do you think that there's a potential deal on the horizon on Capitol Hill to get those agents paid through a TSA so that ICE can get back to their real job, which is deporting criminal aliens out of our communities?
Like President Trump wants the government open back up, so don't I. I've been on the Hill a lot of days last week talking to, you know, being the subject matter expert, if you will, during negotiations. I'm not a lawmaker, not a politician, but I simply explained to him what ICE does, how we do it, and how things are different. But what I explained to him is we have the same policies right now that we had under Clinton, Obama, Bush 1, Bush 2. Our policies haven't changed. This isn't a matter of demanding policy change. It's a matter of how we execute the mission. And, you know, the problems we saw in Minnesota, we've addressed. We got identification on uniforms. We're doing targeted enforcement operations. We're concentrating, as President Trump promised American people, on the public safety threats and national security threats. However, no one's off the table. I've said that. We've arrested a lot of non-criminal aliens, but there has to be smart enforcement. I'm explaining that to them. What I will not do, I will not give up ICE authorities and tie their hands. You know, the bottom line is they want to abolish ICE, they want to shut ICE down, and they want to do it through reconciliation, or they want to do it through, you know, a budget, you know, process. No, we're enforcing laws you enacted. If you don't like it, then legislate new laws. But we're doing the job you mandated us to do. We're doing the job that you fund us to do, and we're going to keep doing it. I'm not going to sell ICE out. I'm not taking tools away from ICE. They got an important job to do. They've taken a lot of public safety threats off the street, making this country safer every day, and we're going to keep doing it.
We've talked to a number of senators, congressmen throughout this process of the negotiations, Republicans, and I continue to ask, what are Democrats asking for? And I've been told that the goalposts have moved a number of times. We now have a new DHS secretary. That doesn't seem to be enough for them. Do you feel like any Democrats on Capitol Hill are operating or negotiating in good faith on this issue? And is there any end in sight for what we're seeing at these airports?
Well, I hope so. And look, we've had good conversations, but we're not there yet. And again, I'll reiterate, we're not going to take tools away from ICE to keep them safe and keep the community safe. So, you know, I'll say this. I can't believe we're in a point in time where any member of Congress is refusing to open up the Department of Homeland Security. Right? We got TSA not being paid, who keep the skies safe. We got the Coast Guard not being paid. We got CISA, who does cybersecurity. They're not being paid. You know, the Secret Service is not being paid. I just can't understand it. I think it's politics over public safety, politics over national security. It's obvious. Let's put our differences aside, open up the Homeland Security. We can have these discussions about immigration enforcement and other things that DHS does, but there's no sense of punishing the TSA agents and the Coast Guard and the Secret Service agents and FEMA. Let's not punish them because you don't like what ICE is doing. Open the government up, and we'll continue having discussions.
Is that what the president is also telling you when you have your meetings with him at the White House? You were talking about how you go back and forth. What does the president say to you when you go up to Capitol Hill to have these negotiations? What is his posture?
He wants to open the government up, but he believes, you know, ICE is doing, you know, the mission as required by Congress. President Trump's a big supporter of ICE, big supporter of the Border Patrol, and he's a strong president. And I think he's the greatest president of my lifetime because I'm a border guy. No one's on the border. We've got the most secure border in history of the nation. We got record number of arrests and removals. Bottom line is, he, like me, agree that ICE is a legitimate agency focusing on the worst of the worst. Of course, we're arresting non-criminals, but they're in the country illegally. Guess what? The law says we're to arrest them and deport them. So bottom line is, President Trump believes in the mission. We're going to keep doing the mission, and we're not going to surrender the mission.
Yeah, well, Tom, I've spent a lot of my career covering the border, watching the open border policies play out in our cities, watching every state become a border state. So watching what has happened now with the southern border being closed, essentially, is pretty remarkable. And look forward to seeing how ICE gets additional illegal alien criminals out of cities so they can stop victimizing young women who are just trying to live their lives and go out for a walk with their friends. Border Czar Tom Homan, thank you for joining us. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.